came to America, landed at LAX, asked the shuttle bus taxi guy, take me somewhere safe and cheap where I can stay for a few weeks. He drops me off, boom, in Venice Beach. And
so you had no reservations anywhere.
Nothing.
You had no idea where you were.
No idea.
No idea what America was.
Didn't know one person.
You landed, literally took your suitcases.
Take me somewhere safe and cheap.
Take me somewhere safe and cheap.
He drops me off in Venice Beach.
Oh my gosh.
Which back then was...
Which is the craziest place.
Crazy. And I cried for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And this was before cell phones, so I would call my mother.
Yeah.
How I collect call.
Yeah.
I'd call my mother, it's your son, and she would decline the call and then call the payphone and call back.
Yeah, right.
And so I called her crying one day, expecting her to say, come home. And my mother, and I was the only son, and this is a great gift that my mother gave me. Right. She could have said, come home, but she just said, keep going. I was ready to quit and come home, and she said, keep going, keep going. You know, so on the flip side, you know, yes, you allow your children the space to just unfold. But I think on another side, when you see who they really are, right, and what their soul is guiding them to, right, maybe part of, you could say, being a parent is holding them accountable to that without just, do whatever you want. Yes. Right. So that's the balance, right, you know, because she could have just said, oh, come home, my son. And the fact that she didn't is what saved my life and kept me going, because I was ready. Because here I am. I know. Did it
upset you that she didn't say come home? I mean, in that moment, were you a little?
I knew the rightness of what she was doing, and I felt relieved. Deep down, I felt relieved because
it validated your faith too.
I wanted her to say come home.
Yeah,
but my soul knew that was not the right decision.
Yeah.
And so that kept me going. And, you know, I found an apartment, a tiny apartment about this size, half the size of this room, and moved in and had no bed, had no couch, had literally took a mattress out of the trash, literally out of the trash.
Really?
And slept. I mean, I'm an 18-year-old kid. I'm not thinking it's dirty. I had
a
place.
Matter.
Didn't matter.
Right.
And you know what? I didn't care because I felt free. Yep. My soul felt free. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I was on the right path. And the freedom of trusting my soul and listening to my soul was a freedom that nothing and no one could take from me. And that was the freedom. And so I just began my life, you know, got odd jobs here and there, and just started life in America, you know.
So some of the odd jobs, I have stories about my odd jobs, and I can see how they align perfectly, and I can see how they don't align at all with what I ultimately did. Yeah. Give me one or two that stand out. One, that you can't believe I'm doing this. Yeah. And two, something that you could see benefited you later.
I was cleaning the kitchens and, you know, in a little $1 a dish Chinese restaurant, you know, just to make ends meet.
Sure.
And
free
food. Free Chinese food. One time I was selling cars, and that's a hard business, man. Selling cars in a tent sale, weekend tent sales.
Oh my gosh!
3 days, you know, of the week, hustling, selling cars, and that was brutal for my soul. Made a few $100, but I knew that this was not my path.
Right.
And so,
but you were learning how to meet people, deal with people,
learning,
sell them an idea, listening to people.
My life started shifting when I had no car and I took a bus to the LA Convention Center. This is where life is about following clues. You have to follow the clues. The challenge is most of us as human beings, we're not paying attention. We're inside of ourselves, we're outside of ourselves, we're so distracted that we're not following the clue. Life is always giving you clues. The question is, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
You know? And I think deep down there is a part of us that knows everything. We already know. You already know. We know.
That's what I tell my wife all the time, that I know everything.
She takes it. the way you
She
might be
takes
saying
it a
that
different
might be a bit different than what I mean it.
Yeah,
but
maybe I should approach it differently.
yeah.
My soul knows
Don't
everything.
go to her and say, Kute
Tell me that I know everything.
Right? But there's a deeper part of us that knows everything, because I think
I believe
at
that, by
that
the way.
deepest level,
Yeah.
we are everything. We are one
That's
with
right.
everything at that deepest level.
That's right.
It's just we're so living at the surface of life, the mind, the distractions, that we're often not in touch with that deeper knowing. And
That's
so I
right.
think the more we can trust that knowing, life flows.
That's right.
Life flows. And so I was guided to go to a business convention, LA Business Convention. I went there, left, seemingly uneventful. I got a phone in my apartment. It was an upgrade, and someone called me out of the blue, landline, and said, I met you at the LA Business Convention. I got your business card. I didn't have any business cards, but she said, I got your business card. And she started pitching me a network marketing company, Prime America insurance company. I'm like, I didn't come for. I came here for Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins. I want to meet Mark Victor Hansen. I came here for self-help, man. This is what I meant to do with my life.
Right.
And she said, well, that's not my thing, but I know someone who is in a network marketing that is this is before YouTube. That is a self-help based network marketing company called TPN. And it's satellite dish with programming, a couple of channels, and all these people, Stephen Covey, they're all a part of this thing. I'm going to have her give you a call. So I don't know how she got my number, but it was like a miracle. Like out of the blue, I get this phone call. Long story short, I end up joining this network marketing company. I had no money. I go to the network marketing meeting. And again, following the clues, I said to the woman, I want to sign up for the package, but it's $600. I have no money. This woman who I'd never met in my whole life says, there's something about you. I don't know why I'm meant to do this, but I'm going to pay for your package to sign up.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what got me started. And from that, 18-year-old Kute, and I ended up in a month signing up like 60 people, which is a big deal in the network marketing, knowing no one. Right. And that took me to the convention, the national convention, which all of a sudden I'm in the back of the auditorium, and someone taps me on the shoulder because they heard about this young kid who was enrolling all these people, riding the bus, and they threw me on stage. 20,000 people in Dallas, Texas.
Right.
In that moment, everything from my childhood came.
Yeah, of course.
I realized that all of my father's preparation
That's right.
set me up for moments like that.
That's right.
And I was on stage, 20,000 people. I look in the front row, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Mark Victor Hansen, Zig Ziglar. I mean, the list goes on. Tommy Hopkins. Everyone is there.
Everyone you were trying to see is now watching
They're
you.
right there. And I start speaking. Next 2-3 minutes, the whole audience is in tears. Everyone is standing up. That triggered everything.